Okay, live on 1, 2, and 3. Just waiting on YouTube. Okay, so we're live on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome everybody on the live and the replay. We've got our third show, our final show of the day, unless I get a wild hair tonight and do something different, but I don't think so because I'm tired. But we've got our beloved sister, Marina Jacobi, in the house. I know a lot of people are familiar with her, so I'm anxious to get her up here. So I'm going to give people a little bit of time to come in. I'm going to go ahead and put our intro on, and uh, and that way they can have time to get in, and we can share to the network. So just give me about 1 minute and 30 seconds, and we'll be right back. How's it going, everybody? It's good to be back. We've got this is our third and final show of the day. We've got the beloved sister Marina Jacobi is in the house, so I'm going to go jump into the Zoom room. She brought a bunch of friends with her. We got 24 people in the Zoom room and about another 60 people on the other platforms. Let me go find her name. And there she is. Okay. All right, here we go. How you doing, Marina?
Hi, everybody. Hi.
Pleasure to
Hi,
meet
Morgan.
you.
You too.
It really is. I remember catching your frequency like 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago.
Oh,
I re-
thank you.
In fact, when I went to my to message you, I realized I think were we friends? And because I don't spend that much time doing that, but yeah. So I know we connected in the past, and I know I've seen some of your stuff. Do you make videos? Have you made videos?
Yes, I have a YouTube channel, The Harmonic Reactor, and you have
Okay,
all the information there.
okay. That's I think where I've seen where I really got pulled to you. So it's a
Mhm.
pleasure to meet you. Thank you for
Hi,
coming in.
thank you. Thanks for
Yeah.
having me.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you for coming in and sharing space and honoring us with your presence. Yeah, you've got some powerful stuff out there. And you brought like 25 family members into the Zoom room. So that's cool.
Yes, they used to Saturday, so I usually have like 500 on my
Wow.
webinars
So
live.
you do a webinar every Saturday?
Saturday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, New York.
Every day, every Saturday.
Every Saturday, 1 p.m. Eastern
Wow.
Time.
Wow,
Mhm.
that's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah.
Are you in New York?
I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, you're in Jersey. Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, I spent a little time in New York in 2017, 2017, 2016. I don't remember. I can't remember
Mhm.
any of my 3D memory's gone.
Yeah, it's like 45 minutes from Manhattan. It's not that far, when you take the bus or the train or the
Yeah.
car.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we actually got married not married. It was a divine union ceremony in New Jersey over in Andover. And I spent some
Oh,
other time there in Princeton and what was the other one? Trenton, those two areas.
mhm.
So, when did you wake up?
Wow, that was well, if we talk about extraterrestrials, it
Yeah,
was
let's go through phases here. Did
yes,
you
that's different.
did you have the typical light worker path where you had you woke up? I mean, you were born. You had something that knew was happening. You
Mhm.
kind of hit teenage years, high school. You went back to sleep, entered the matrix, and then had a reawakening. Did you have that path with some traumas involved? Or
Oh yeah, but it was from a little kid. That
mm,
was from a little kid.
mm,
Dreams and then experiences, and then my mom came in with people from expos that they were doing Reiki something. I did not feel good in the stomach. They did Reiki, and I that would trigger me because I almost passed out when they were moving their hands. And when they saw me passing out, they moved their hands again, and I went back to normal. And that was like very interesting to me. How is this possible? And
how
then
old were
everything
you?
started. I was like, I think 8
Oh
or
wow.
10. I'm not really sure. Maybe 10,
Yeah.
something like that.
And so you have and then you go on and on and on and now you have some visitations as far as the Star family goes. How did that start?
Well, I was 18 young when I was missing for 6 hours from the beach. I was with my grandparents and I have no recollection. But when I opened my eyes, I was in front of a tent on the end of peninsula of the beach area. And when I had a regression or somebody that was a very big psychic, he looked into, and I knew something happened. But to this day, I know I was upgraded, but I don't know what exactly happened there. Because there was nobody can find me. There was no recollection where I was. It was like I was missing the whole beach area. Everybody was looking for me. So then I realized that they told me it was some kind of upgrade, but until today I had no idea. Then they told me that at the age of maybe 12 or something like that, there was a switch of souls,
Mm,
and basically end up being Pleiadian soul coming into the structure of the body of the previous body. And that is because my mother wouldn't be able to hold the vibration of the highest sequence of the soul.
mm.
So when
And
the
that
time
that
was
was it.
right, there was switch.
So that was at 12. Is that what you said?
Around that age, they never
Okay.
told me the exact time. Could have been 8, but what I was told later on, because I developed automatic writing by practicing, I was constantly, but I always wanted to talk about extraterrestrials
Mm,
subconsciously. So I always wanted to write about ETs, talk about ETs. I was fascinated. And then when I developed the automatic writing, I was constantly talking to some entities but loved ones, and I was never afraid about it. But they were telling me there was switch of souls. I had no idea what they were talking about until later on when I had a contact by telepathic and automatic writing from the hybrids. They were the first one in 2010. I was
mm,
already in America, had a family. I was just doing regular stuff by automatic writing. And they told me that hello, we're the hybrids. Be careful what you're talking, because everything you think and talk, we can see as a hologram pops up. They said as a hologram in front of us. And that fascinated me. And that was the long life journey of them for the next year, 2 years, teaching me constantly metaphysics, quantum structure, pointing out videos to me, teaching me to detox the body. Then I was contacted by Ra, the spark of Ra in consciousness of Ra. He taught me a lot of stuff. Then he introduced me to the Council of Nine,
mm.
which is the above extraterrestrial structures beings. After them, I was contacted by the Pleiadians, and then I found out that Pleiadians were part of my galactic family, and they were the ones that downloaded the extraterrestrials advanced technologies of the harmonic reactor, of the nanotechnology. They downloaded the predictions. The Council of Nine downloaded the prediction book, which is the end result of the timelines for ascension of fifth dimensional protocol. And then I had more technology that was coming. And during all this time, all of them were teaching me metaphysics, quantum physics, inertial law, how the consciousness works, how you are made of frequency, sound, vibration, what is the one particle. And they were pointing to me because they were coming different groups at different time, depending on what I was studying.
Mm-hmm.
And they will point out, okay, there's no time, everything is in the present. And I'm gonna go, you mean tomorrow? They go, no, the present. Tomorrow, not the present. And all of a sudden I'm gonna find somebody for the next 2 days that talks about something. But what I found out, what was always fraction of the information, was never the entire information. And when they start teaching me, I realized that they gave me information how I can connect consciousness with metaphysics and quantum physics, that is never separated, that is part of one structure. And this is how the harmonic reactor video came out first. When I download, it took me 1 year to download the harmonic reactor material, which is about teleportation advanced technology. And it's in code. The entire book is in code. I was not allowed to switch any words, because words in sequences create a holographic matrix, and they also create a whirlpool in the matrix of the reality and creates portals. So when you read the information, even you may not understand exactly, but the code is actually seeding you with the proper frequency, so you can start opening the portals for this 5-dimensional timeline. And that technology cannot be used as a technology to kill somebody or to do something. This is a sequence, it's a 5th-dimensional structure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're a scientist or a person that is negative and wants to develop something, they told me they would not be even able to open the information or download information how to continue building it, because it was just a fraction. And they said, when you, all the proper scientists and the proper consciousness connect with each other, start building these technologies, the right people through the right frequency, vibration, and the consciousness and the heart combination are going to be able to build this technology. And they told me that the reason for that was because they wanted to test everybody. Because we come here as a souls and we want to help the planet Earth, but it's so challenging that a lot of people cannot hold the vibration because it's just so much manipulation, and it's easy to fall into greed, money, and power. That's what they told me. I'm quoting what they told me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you've been busy.
Very, very busy. Yes. I was not allowed to talk for 2 years after I downloaded the material.
You mean literally, or just not be public about it?
Not be absolutely public. I will go to places and they will tell me, you must be quiet. This is not the time. And I think 2014 or 2015, I said something, and in 2017, I gave the information to a couple of scientists, and one of them was Nassim Haramein. He 2017 had a session with me, and we talked, and for 1 hour, and I gave them all the information, and I don't know what they did with it. I gave it to the world because I was told to give the only information, because in this you have teleportation device, you have healing through sound frequency from the heart. Actually, you can measure the heart frequency, and once you measure it specifically, for example, I take your heart frequency and I measure it through a specific device, but the sound has a sub sound. And when you bring the sub sound into one tonality and you make a one frequency sound, which is multiple layers of sound put into one structure, if you put that by the power of 10 and project that frequency sound to you, I can heal your body literally within 3 days. It takes 3 days, they told me. And all that material information is inside this book. You
So
have
that,
artificial
so you,
intelligence.
yeah. So you have two books. One is the harmonic reactor, and the other one's nanotechnologies. Now, the harmonic reactor is the book you're talking about.
The harmonic reactor is the book I talked about. It's vast amount of information. I mean, it's a lot of information.
So
because
you,
yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just kind of, I want to, okay. So this was kind of like the compilation of your interaction with the hybrids, and then the Pleiadians, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And so you put everything that was given to you in the book, the harmonic reactor, but you also gave it to a couple of scientists and that type of thing too, right?
A lot, yes. Personally, I gave to a couple of
Hmm.
scientists. One scientist came in and was a Harvard graduate. I'm not going to say names.
Hmm.
He took the nanotechnology material, and he did said that he thinks that this is for real, but I was for releasing technology to humanity, and I don't
Yeah.
know what people are connected to it, what they do. My job was just to present it, and it's up to them if they're gonna do it for humanity or withhold information. But what my
Hmm.
guidance told me that the right people will come along and they're gonna start doing
Yeah.
everything else. After those two books, I just launched two more books, which is the predictions downloads that they gave me,
Hmm.
and probability 100%, which is coming in a structure, and there is more information in another downloads of technology, which is the core
Yeah,
book.
we'll go back to those. Those all sound fascinating. I had no idea you had led such a full life at, up to this point. Now let's talk about the hybrids for a minute. They were the first ones that
Mm-hmm,
kind of brought you in, right?
mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they called themselves the hybrids.
Yes.
What's your feeling now as a few years have passed? Do you feel like that they're aspects of you? Do you feel like that they're a monad or like a soul family or anything like that? Or do you have any idea at all?
They told me that they were connected, and I asked them, are you like a human? And they said that they're designed by different structure than we are. It's almost like, I cannot say artificial structure, but it's a different spinning of the vibration of how they built. It's
Right.
different DNA type of structure.
Right.
That's what they told me. That is not, they said it's not robots, it's something else, but it was hard for them to explain to me how exactly this is constructed.
Yeah.
And they do have a soul, and they're part of it, and it's all in the name of humanity, because through platforms of reality we are connected through timelines, and it was fundamental the planet Earth to go into a fifth dimensional structure, because consciousness through the entire magma of the structure is moving into the next level. That's why
Yeah.
all the good groups of extraterrestrial groups were helping humanity, because you have groups that probably have a different agenda, but the truth is that they said that you are that all of us as humanity is constructed from the DNA of extraterrestrial race. We being
Right.
designed, and is nothing wrong with that. It's, they
Yeah.
said, part of evolution,
Yeah.
but it's being brought up and broadcasted so much fear into people through movies, through media, through
Yeah.
everything else. And some people have like abduction stuff, but what they told me that they can, the extraterrestrials, the high consciousness, since you made from a matrix and your energy field, everything is based on different type of frequency vibration and designed by resonances. They can plaster some kind of a resonance and matrix in front of you, because you can get scared even if they come and help you. So abduction could have been from a negative side, but also could be something positive.
Yeah.
And the only reason when they didn't tell you what's happening is because you're going to be in fear. You don't know
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah. It's too much.
It's too
Right.
much. Yes.
And so, okay, so the hybrid um, is kind of like the hybrid group was kind of like an energy complex. There's, was it made up of more than one soul speaking to you? Do you think, or was it just one?
No, I saw that they were individual. They call it, they have individual souls and they're doing the stuff, but they have a certain personalities. When you start connecting with different
Yeah.
extraterrestrial groups and also higher consciousness, which is overseeing ET groups and the
Hmm.
planets, which is actually the councils, they can change bylaws and agreements with you, but it's very difficult to do. That's what I've learned through the process. Everybody has his own personality. The hybrids are very to the point, very on. If they say something, that thing will happen.
Hmm.
And there will be the doom, do this. If you don't do that, and it's always something happens if they do that. The Council of Nine is more, they're strict, but at the same time, I would say more like kind in a way. That doesn't mean that the hybrids are not really kind, but they're really like almost like doom, like that. When they say something, there's not too much emotional stuff involved into it.
Right.
However, the council was emotional. The Pleiadians were more emotional. You know, the Ra was very strict.
Yeah.
Ra was really strict. Ra
Do
was
you
like very powerful being.
does Ra did Ra feel like a single entity, or did it feel like a energy complex of multiple entities?
Ra told me you're it, but I couldn't understand in the beginning. And then I've realized that it's a spark of the consciousness of Ra that is splits up in different platforms. That's why you have different channels downloading information from the
Yeah.
structure. And however, everybody is doing different things, but he also told me that he's also ascending to the next level.
Yes. Okay. And so then then it kept going, and we can go back to that, and you had a
Mm-hmm,
couple more books come out. What's
mm-hmm.
your feeling about all of the information that you've received and the communications that you've had? Do you think that there was one general purpose in these energies and these energy complexes coming to you and giving you this information? Do you feel like there was one general purpose?
I came through agreement because I had to download the quantum manifestation protocol, how you shift from timelines. And that was very fundamental, somebody to be able to learn from them quantum physics the way they teach you, not the way the narrative was put in here, because was giving something but not enough information. It was given the wrong sign, something was missing. And they needed somebody that will stick with the protocol. That was very, very challenging because I went through a very rough life as a childhood, and I'm a tough personality. I came in America when I was 20 years old with $600 in my pocket and no English.
Mm,
So I knew how to survive. I'm a strong personality, but in order to complete something like this, you go through a lot of struggle because you're pulling away from the normal norm, so-called, of the society, and you act in it exactly the opposite that you've been told, and you feel like you're losing your mind. But what's happening is I didn't listen to the beginning, whatever they would tell me, but if I didn't listen, I will get myself in a situation. And this is how I started to pay attention what they were telling me, more and more and more, because some of the teachings that I was at the same time in a spacecraft with them, but at the same time I was at home in a planet Earth, and I thought I've lost my mind until I've listened to something, a fragment of somebody saying exact similar to what they told me 2 days ago. And I said, oh my God. And then I started listening to again, because they start teaching me very complex information of quantum structures and how the universe works through the
yes.
parallel timelines.
Yeah. And they also, now we're still talking about the hybrids, but now they also uh, explain to you the nature of the different star families or ET races. I think that's what you said in your bio. Uh, would that be in regard to what's been happening on the earth? I mean, are they talking about the good ones and the ones that are not so good or whatever? Did they explain all this to you? Was that part of it?
They explain to me enough so you don't get so much into fear, because if somebody said, oh, the only positive it is, this is not really the case. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what I was told, that the planet Earth was hijacked from a race that end up using humanity, and the way the DNA was designed, you can go very much to the dark force and can go very much, and that was some kind of a glitch that happened there, and we were completely hijacked from the extraterrestrial race, that they knew how to utilize our frequency vibration to hold their timeline of resonance. That's what really happened here. So if you so when people come in, for example, they don't give me too much of, they can say, oh, that person is Pleiadian, or that person is connected to this family. But the reason they told me they're not going to give too much, because not everybody is ready to hear where they come from.
Yeah.
Is you gotta, they told me the person, individual, has to reach enough level of a resonance, so they said their frequency vibration of the consciousness can hold the information.
Yeah.
And they said when you get in a personal connection, could be through lucid dreaming, could be somebody really appear in front of you, which I had people calling me for that happen, or you can be out of body all of a sudden. That will be when you are ready to be contacted from your galactic family. And they told me that is going to be an individual basis, because they said we wanted to pull away from the manipulation that is happening in your planet Earth, because anybody that does stuff like me can claim anything. And that's what I said to everybody. Don't trust me what I say. Do the research and see if what I say makes sense to you, because I'm not your savior, but I'm here to present so you can be the savior for yourself.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good point that you made too, because everybody talks about disclosure, and of course, there's many aspects to disclosure, but one of those
Absolutely.
but one of those would be, close encounters of the, whatever the fifth kind or whatever the one is where and you make a really good point that these things are going to happen on an individual level, and this is where the question I had as you were talking was going, and then you went kind of into what I was going to ask about. So my wife and we've had visitations, and we communicate a lot with different energies. Some of those are clearly galactic. There seems to be something coming through in the last 10 days or so, which has been we're revealing ourselves to you a little bit at a time, and our connection is going to take on more of a physicality. And we've had, as recently as last night and the night before, more and more uh, of a physical apparition, becoming more physical, to be seen with the two eyes, right? Is this something that you feel will be occurring for everyone when they're ready, in these individual visitations, where there's going to be an actual physicality to the star family as they present themselves?
Excellent question. I gotta tell you, you really gave a very good question here, because I can, if I may, explain to you how they explain to me through physics.
Yes.
Okay. In individual basis, the way they said this is fundamental. So all the manipulation is basically shut down. So you can trust 100% of what they're telling you. The individual basis will come when the consciousness itself, an individual person, will build enough knowledge to hold the vibration of their reality. That means that your consciousness, if you have a galactic family from 7-dimensional, 9-dimensional, has to reach that resonance. Think of it as a radio frequency in order to be able to download the information. But not only this, when they said to me, when we want to have a physical interaction, they may appear to you and they will hold the vibration very little, they will hold the vibration, but in order to physically you be able to hold in their vibration into one timeline, what's happening is between their reality and your reality, you creating a third structure. That's why they said 1 + 1 = 3, which you're going to create your own reality between their reality. You're in and now to have a contact. However, that contact could be held by them giving you vibration platform hologram, so you can hold their resonance, or they will teach you individually how to detox, what to do specifically for your body, so your molecular structure and the molecule that you hold in becomes more silica and more light body frequency. So all of a sudden you can completely shift the timeline and bilocate as you wish. And they said, what's going to happen? You're going to have a contact. You may be in a spacecraft. You're going to be, for example, for 3 minutes. Then you're going to be back brought into another hologram imprint in a planet Earth. And they said, and it's going to be back and forth, more and more. You're going to increase the visitations until you're ready, for example, to permanently move to your galactic family, or permanently back and forth by agreements individually. But they said, but that doesn't mean that you live in your family. But means that you project in another version of yourself in another timeline, when you project in also them, and the other version that you and the planet Earth is also existing. So you're splitting up your consciousness in two simultaneously running timelines, where one is existing in the planet Earth with your family, the other one is in the galactic family. However, if you're ready to stay, you actually existing in both, but you focus only on your galactic family. However, your family in the planet Earth is projecting another version of you in their
Yeah.
reality based on their belief system.
Right on. Yeah, and this makes sense too. Like, so you have the bilocation aspect, the multi-location aspect, and then you have this holographic aspect, which I think we can I can attest to a little bit. We've
Mm-hmm.
had experiences.
And that's what they told me you had somebody's holding the vibrational sequence, so you can do that.
Yeah.
However, you can also do telepathically, the way they talk to you and they show you images in your third eye.
Mm-hmm.
That is in your matrix of your telepathic connection. But there is another level, which is going to be physicality, whatever, right? I had a situation that they will go and they will say, we'll see you, and they will go and will tapping into the consciousness of somebody, of my classmates or something like this, through agreement of their
Mm-hmm.
soul.
Yeah.
And they will talk to me through that person.
Yeah.
That's what they did several times to me by telling me, we'll see you. And I said, how are you going to be dressed? Well, I'm going to be with a green shirt and I'm going to be with a black shirt. And
Mm-hmm.
within 2 minutes or half an hour, all of a sudden I was in college when this happened. And I
Yeah.
was complaining so much. And this was the hybrids. I
Mm-hmm.
was complaining to them how this person ended up seeing and that person, and what am I, why are you asking me to go to college, and this is ridiculous, you know. And they said, okay, we'll see you. And I didn't believe them until they said, okay, I'm going to be with the green shirt, I'm going to be with the black shirt. And within a half an hour, my professor was talking about diseases, and one of my classmates said, oh, I believe that they're extraterrestrials. And the whole conversation started between two of them. And I didn't pay attention until I said, what's going on here? Why are they talking in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
this specialty class about this? I looked, and what do I see? My entire classmates, literally, they were like in trance, and everybody was writing without moving, only their hands were moving, literally in trance. And I'm looking it around, and then within 2 seconds I'm realizing that my classmates were with a green shirt and my professor was with a black shirt. And when I realized that they connected with their
Yeah.
consciousness talking through them. Because imagine you're talking diseases, everything stops in the middle and you start talking about ETs.
Yeah.
And when I realized, and I said, holy mako, to myself, and I turned around, my classmates, the way they were talking, turned towards me like this, pointed towards me and said, I got you, and smiled to me. And I fall off the chair. I couldn't believe what. And none of them after this had any recollection that they talked to me. So this is
You
what they did several times to me.
are lucky that you're still sane. That was a lot
I
to
am.
take in. You know.
It takes a little craziness to get to this point, but it takes no fear. That's what it takes.
So one of the things that happens to us at night, every night when we go to bed, we put our hands together and then we connect, and a variety of different things happen. That's
Yeah.
why I brought up the thing about the holographic.
Mm-hmm.
There was one time several, I would say like 8 or 10 uh, star family beings came in. They weren't all the same. They were different. Later on, I got that one was a Syrian and one was an Alpha Centaurian, and there were some other ones, but it was very much like that. They were translucent. You could still see the features of their face, but it seemed like, even though we were in this bedroom, it seemed like there was a different. I can see what you were saying about the creation of that
The
meeting.
hologram.
Now, one of the other things that's happened is over the past year and a half or so is Morgan typically is the receiver. You know, the more literal reception goes through her, and there was this began like this tapping, like a tapping in, from them, through her hand, and then it would go in through me. And there was some explanation that went with it from time to time, but it seemed to be like connected to the electrical system of the body, and it was coding being passed on from the star family through to her, through us, to us.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that you're familiar with? Do you know anything about that?
I don't know, but they were showing me that basically, when you combine two of you, because of the resonances that we hold in individually in a body, one is higher conduit than the other. And when you combine with each other and when you touch with each other, she's downloading information easily to you,
Hmm.
because you're able to hold a vibration easily from her to you. It's more familiar in a resonance.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that make sense to you?
Yeah. Yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah. That makes
Okay,
sense.
that's what it I got.
Yeah. And yeah, because there's no physical movement. It's just an
Yes,
involved.
and
Yeah.
yet they said that you are able to do it by yourself. It's just first steps to
Yeah.
being your own,
Well, what
conduit.
I've noticed is because that's kind of how it started. You know, I had my own
Mm-hmm.
ways of connecting and my own types of connections, and then I met her. Hers was very galactic. I never really dealt with any of that. So anyway,
Mm-hmm.
time goes by. What I've noticed is, like, say over the last 2 months, like even I think it was last night. I have a hard time remembering if it was last night or the night before. So we
Mm-hmm.
get in bed, and as soon as we got in bed, I could see this formation of crystal beings. They were like columns of like wands almost, but they were figurines. They were human. You know, they had the arms, the legs.
Mm-hmm.
They were figures.
Humanoid.
Yeah, they were humanoid, but they had this crystal thing going on. I didn't say anything,
Mm-hmm.
and then eventually she connected and started to communicate with them, and then she was seeing the same thing. But what I was going to get at was, to your point, as I've noticed, is that like she'll start to talk about something, and it already came in, or it came in as I was walking to the bedroom. So there's some type of there's some type of connection that's occurring,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and to what you're saying, where there's two people, and it's kind of what one gets, the other one gets. You know, it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is really interesting. Now, so you went from the hybrids, then the Pleiadians came in. You put
Ra
the book.
came in. Ra.
Ra came in, then the Pleiadians,
Mm-hmm.
and then you put the book out. You put the book out.
Then the Council of Nine came in,
Oh, the
and
Council
then
of
the
Nine.
Pleiadians.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Ra introduced me to the Council of Nine, but
Okay.
then I realized that I was part of the Council of Nine. So
Ra.
they gave me fractally information, so I don't really say, oh my god, I've totally lost it, because even after everything they were teaching me, when they were explaining me about simultaneously running timelines, that I was existing at the same time, because they were telling me you're in the spacecraft right now, but you're also in the planet Earth. And I thought that really something happened to me. I thought I lost it, because I couldn't comprehend until I listened to somebody. Then I went back. I was afraid to talk to anybody because I'm going, oh my God, I'm losing my mind with all this stuff,
Yeah.
because I have no references. This
Yeah. Of
was very,
course.
very advanced information.
Yeah. So, I mean, it, now you talk about the multi-location, the bilocation, the stuff that's kind of coming.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I get the feeling that in our other aspects, we have, I guess, a truer, more clarity with our multidimensionality abilities to bilocate and telepathic and all that. Why is it that Earth is so confined in terms of our consciousness, or has been? I know things are changing now,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and I know there's a perfect design to it all, but why is it so different here? On one hand, it seems like it's a very intense, dense kind of realm, but at the same time, it seems like a very special place because of the unique circumstances. Have they ever talked about that?
Yes, because they said everything is a learning curve. In order for you to know how to modify, construct, and deconstruct realities, you have to know the magnetic and the density of the magnetic and the gravitational field of the alchemy of creation.
Mm.
So when you go into the dark density, magnetic and gravitational field, you're gonna know how to combine the light with the dark, and construct and deconstruct worlds and realities that you can bilocate. And until you learn that alchemy of how creation works and what you're made of, you're never going to be mastering the structure. And since consciousness is moving to the next level, what a better way of learning in this planet when there's so much darkness, there's so much division, but yet if you're able to combine all that and hold the neutrality through that process, you move into the next location of vibrational sequences through the platform of ascension.
Yeah.
And that's what is the learning curvature here for us. We came, it's, to be honest, what they told me, it's a game.
Yeah.
Consciousness is learning and expanding, even if it sounds very strange, but that's what it is. And they told me that the program, I have this in the book of the predictions, they said that the program finished, almost like the game 30 years was playing this, and then 30 years was playing that. In between is all these probabilities, who is going to do what. But this is happening in the 10 year, this is happening in the 50 year. And the end result, what you have in the predictions book, is the end result of what's happening in the ascension protocol. In between, who is going to do what, who is going to fall under the cracks. They said if somebody doesn't complete the mission, consciousness will always survive because it has to preserve itself. It's going to be always plan B, plan C, plan D to continue the ascension. And if you hold the vibration, if you have the knowledge and you know how to shift the timeline for yourself, you're in an ascension protocol, and there's no way nothing going to change. Everything is going to change. So they told me we already made it. We're already free. What you're seeing is the construction to get to that free momentum, but you need to hold the vibration.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now that you're free.
And so if you break this down to a human level, I think if I'm hearing you correctly, because most people, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, most of our consciousness, most of our time is spent with this consciousness being very, very much the majority of our consciousness. So what you're saying basically is that even at the human level, as we go about our day, we can actually master the balance of dark and light. We can actually hold a harmonic, people call it 0 point or balance. And by doing that, we're actually affecting all of our multi aspects. We're actually making progress, I guess is what I'm saying, even though somebody may not be having visitations or teleportation or that type of thing. If are they doing the work? Are they coming into alignment if in their conscious human daily actions they are holding that peace in the 0 point and balancing dark and light?
That's right, but I can explain it also in a different level. Your consciousness is made from the one particle that expands into the infinity. That means you project in the whole universe, the whole planets, the planet Earth, and you collapse in that particle. It collapses to the smallest of infinity. So reality within the reality. So they told me that one consciousness can project only you, and then can project everybody that is happening in the planet Earth. So they said it's individual ascension. So don't break away from the illusion, but know how you construct in your reality. And within that knowledge, you project the multiverse within your structure as your hologram, another version of yourselves there, which is going through the platform of ascension. So everybody for themselves is creating their own ascension protocol under the umbrella of consciousness moving to the fifth dimensional structure, where you're going to have one reality going into fifth dimensional, and you're going to have one reality going into the dark structure. And the only way you're going to see the dark structure, if you've been given so many choices, because they told me everybody, dark, positive, negative, whatever, is being given the choice from consciousness itself to wake up, because even the dark forces are part of consciousness itself. You can reject them, but you can transform them. So they said if that person chooses to stay in an ego, even when the facts are there, why you deny the facts, these people, because of the resonance that they're holding, they're moving towards the density structure matter reality.
So this information, it really takes the emphasis off of what's going on in the global stage, what's going on with QAnon or even the COVID virus. It takes all the emphasis off of that that's really got, I don't want to say, maybe it does, got nothing to do with it. Our journey is what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's all in this relationship with what sounds like our own consciousness as we take it to the singular and to what we project. Would that be right?
Absolutely. That totally understand that. What's happening here, they said, even if you see, if you stay, they said, in the negative all the time, and you're watching this and you're watching the bad guys getting caught, you actually watching another version of yourself getting caught because you're projecting that
Mm-hmm.
hologram, another version of yourself. But if you stay within the understanding what's happening, and you start taking action the way I do, the way you do, and you projecting positive within the structure, because once you project the emotion, that emotion goes into the quantum field and reflects back to you of the same.
Yeah.
But because it's infinite of probability, you don't know who is gonna do it, how it's gonna come. And they said if you stay in that neutrality momentum, but do everything in the name of humanity for the positive of humanity, then you're creating your own ascension in a timeline, and you're always going to find the loopholes between all these chaotic situations, because everything is an illusion.
Yeah. So basically, if you stay neutral, have no charge, you don't go too positive, you don't go too negative, you pretty much don't have to worry about how it's going to turn out because you're creating that viable path. You're creating that path with the loopholes to get through to the higher timelines.
There is true, but at the same time, when you are in a negative structure, when you see what's happening, you have to understand what's happening, say no to it, but override it with the positive actions. And you
Yes.
have to switch your emotion from negative to positive. And this protocol is in the Harmonic Reactor YouTube channel, season 1, season 2. All that is there. I explain very, through quantum structure, the way they taught me, and all the material was given based on, they will read everybody and they will tell me, okay, people didn't get that, and they will give me a fraction information so I can
Yeah.
download it and explain to everybody.
So are you in constant now when you connect now, are you connecting with the Council of Nine? Are you connecting with this other the last reference that you made in your bio? I think it was a Council of 11. Is that what it was?
Yeah, 11 dimensional build. I actually talked to them the other day. They come in whatever they wish to. Sometimes I call in, but I'm usually with the Council of Nine.
Okay.
And it's constant telepathic connection, to the
Mm-hmm.
point that I can go anywhere and I'm constantly talking. I'm even when I get up in the middle of the night, sometimes I hear they talking,
Mm-hmm.
something we discussing or something. So this level is you already holding the two platform into one unit, and
Yeah.
the next level is to train your body for a physical contact, because
Yeah.
eventually they said we're moving interstellar, and they have to be people on Earth. If we pass all the tests, whatever they've been giving us, how well we've been doing a job, they said it's going to be the people that are going to connect with the ETs physically and show to the world. They will be specifically chosen, because they said we can't just come in and try to say something. It has to be trustworthy from the
Yeah.
people that being approved and
Yeah.
hold the vibration
Yeah.
in the name of humanity.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot more credibility for people stepping up in these individual episodes than there would be with 100 spaceships landing,
Mm-hmm.
uh, because of the fact that we don't know who it is. It could be, it doesn't even matter. Like you said, that whole
That's right.
outside.
They told me this is how disclosure is going to happen through people. For example, one of the videos, people start calling me, Marina, we saw this light coming out of your head. That light is coming. I had no idea until we watched the video. They would tell me, oh, look at 7.14 or something. And they said, well, this is just the beginning. Little by little, more you learn and more you prove yourself and
Mm-hmm.
more you do the stuff, is going to be situations that I didn't even know what was happening.
Mm.
Because eventually they said we're going to find the proper scientists, the proper people, and people going to come out of the woodwork that nobody ever heard of, because they're in the heart structure. Because you actually opening the portal from the heart structure, has
Yeah.
its own vibrational sequence,
Yeah.
and this is what's really have the codes to open the portals. So more good you do,
Yeah.
more you open in this fifth dimensional
Yeah. The
structure
more
center.
good you do without BSing yourself, without,
Without hold your ground and hold your sovereignty. That doesn't mean
yeah.
because you're so nice and so good
Yeah.
everybody can come and take advantage. No, no,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
This is exactly the said, you hold your power
Yeah.
and you say no to get your sovereignty.
Yeah. That's what I've always got. You know,
Yeah.
I've always got on any timeline in any dimension, no matter what stands before me, I can claim my sovereignty. I am soul. You know,
That's right. You are your own person, and you
yeah.
can say no when you want to. And because you're good, that doesn't mean
Do,
you're not intelligent.
do
You
you-
know.
do you see? You know, if you look into the community, even to the light worker community, and I sit in this chair and do what I do every day, that I, especially now this year, I see a lot, and I'm sure it's a good thing, but I see a lot of swinging back and forth. I see a lot of people going to a polarity and saying, "Hey, we need to hang those people," and you know, da 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 da. Like you were talking earlier about observing it and then transforming it. But I guess what I'm trying to say is it conceivable that uh, um, a good number of these souls on the earth will be able to make this conversion, and I guess in human terms, overcome death in that respect?
That is an illusion. This
Yeah.
is what they told me, because we just discussed how you can raise the frequency of the body molecular structure, and they say you dying, you create another timeline, and that's how you move in. You don't have to die. The die was uh, decode degenerating our DNA to the point that cannot mutate to a
Yeah.
high vibrational sequence. That's why we had the vaccines and the poisons and
Yeah.
everything else, so we cannot get out of their timeline, the
Yeah.
matrix.
Yeah.
But yes, they told me that light workers, scientists, and everybody else, they said that we have to start moving into the heart, because they said the ones that are going into greed, fame, and glory, they said this is not going to be the criteria to us for contact or anything else, because it gotta be literally in the name of humanity. And this is where energy philanthropy started, and that's how they taught me: give everything to humanity. If people wish to support you, they can always donate, because you cannot reject the money. But if
Mm.
somebody gives you something, it's going to come from their heart, which they
Yes.
said is a different timeline. And
Yeah.
then you may have the millions somebody can
Yeah.
give you, and somebody can sponsor and do whatever you
Yeah.
want.
That's what I call
And
the
yeah,
5D commerce, you know.
absolutely,
And that's
because
and
money is
yeah.
going to build the ecosystems.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
somebody can give you the money out of respect and say, you know what, build a facility,
Yeah.
build this, get your people here, and this is for humanity, without them giving you the money to try and make money out of you. This
Yeah.
is not the platform.
Yeah. The agenda's
Or
got to go. No
yeah,
agenda.
or you go into places that they're trying to make so much money to the point that people are suffocating just to see you.
Yeah. You can't, yeah, I'm watching it happen with people, with contemporaries and colleagues of yours and mine in the field. They're
Mhm.
trying to use 3D practices, agenda based practices, profit oriented practices, and it's not working. Now, we've not had an easy time over here. It's
Mhm.
been 9 years in the making, uh, but we have. We operate the way that you're talking about. I'm not saying this to give ourselves a pat on the
Mhm.
back.
No, no, I
I'm saying
understand.
this because it actually works. We get what we need when we need it. People give we everything we receive at Sology, every contribution is from the heart. And that's energy. That's energy.
It
You know
makes
what I
you
mean?
feel happy.
Yeah.
And anybody that comes to you, they come to you as a friend, because I had
Yes.
sessions that we're talking about it in a 20 minutes. I'm in a kitchen and I'm teaching the person about this, that, and that, because of what happened to my son and what my guidance told me.
Yeah.
So it becomes a friendship. It doesn't become like a session. And when they wish to give you from the heart, because they respect you, because they
Yeah.
know you have a family to
Yeah.
support.
How where does the human aspect stand from your perspective? What is the human what is the human aspect? Where does it stand in all of this? We're 99% of the time conscious as a human, right? I mean, there's got to be some importance or relevance to that. What are your
um
thoughts?
they told me that we're multiple layers of consciousness, and we just touched a couple of percentage of that expansion, and we're
Okay.
like in baby steps,
Yes, I
like
get it.
children.
Yeah.
That of course, as a child, you have to listen when the master is talking, but how many of them are listening?
Yeah.
Because look at what's happening right now: is complete division of Republicans or Democrats, and they're
Yeah.
fighting between each other. In the meantime, I said, you have to pick in the end because you're going to see facts, but are you seeing the facts, or you just at the moment that somebody is do something with your belief system and narrative or challenge your narrative, you're ready
Hmm.
to jump on their throat and point fingers and be
Yeah.
rude and without you pulling away, say, wait a minute, let me just watch and look at the
Yeah.
entire story, then I can make my own decision.
Yeah. That's it.
And that is, they said, is going to be the downfall for these people that put their ego
Yeah.
without researching,
Well,
because they
and see,
said everybody's been
yeah,
activated.
I like you. You're cool. So,
Yeah.
no, because this is real, and I've said this, and I know some people don't like it, but this whole thing with QAnon and Trump, it's not about politics. I don't have a stand on politics. I love what you say about you observe it, but I see people jumping on the bandwagon, and just because if you're jumping on a bandwagon on one end of the one polarity, you're separating from the other polarity. So even though I might be saying, I believe this over here, I see light workers putting up a post that say, if you don't agree with me, unfriend me now. And I'm like, wait a minute, aren't we trying to get to a unity consciousness
Or
and a
if
oneness?
you believe in the conspiracy, and I saw a very big like worker saying that, and I'm going to myself, did you even do your research?
Mm,
Because I put in my on my YouTube channel, the Harmonic Reactor, there's a sub channel, the Freedom Awakening, and I told, and people begged me to do that because everybody was confused.
yeah.
But what happened with me is my guidance will tell me something, and all of
Mm,
a sudden now end up somebody told me about Q. And
yeah.
I end up seeing exactly the same thing I was told happening. Then
Yeah.
they would tell me another thing. All of a sudden I saw it there. And this is how I start paying attention. And that's what I know the Q is for real, and
Hmm.
is mentally the whole system, but
Hmm.
in a legal way. And you
Yes.
have to be in neutrality to be curious about it and to say, wait a minute here, let me do the research. Because if you
Yeah.
really do the research, there's so much people that are incredible with their researches that they put in videos of showing you in your face the manipulation,
Yeah.
and you still pull back and say this is impossible. Well, this is the people that they're gonna fall down the hill.
Yeah.
Because I never believed, I voted Democratic and Republican and whatever, but then I start looking in the facts, and when I start seeing the facts, I have to be not true to my real self if
Yes.
I deny something just because I want to be loyal. Loyal to what? To
Right.
manipulation? Don't you see that this person's district is completely destroyed, and yet they're telling you what you should do for humanity when
Yeah.
they're sitting in their compound with billions of dollars of money stolen
Yeah.
from people? Your district is completely destroyed, like a third world country, worse than Venezuela, and yet I'm going to continue supporting you because I'm in
Yeah.
their specific party. That's not loyalty. I'm
Right.
sorry, that is absolute stupidity. And this is what they said, that is going to go down a hill, because when it's presented by facts, how can you deny the facts and point finger to the people that are even saying something? Actually, the people you have to, that means that you have to be brave enough to face the manipulation and the
Yeah.
fact to understand that you're being absolutely manipulated.
Yeah.
That's bravery.
Yeah.
So don't hide
Without
behind the
without
bushes.
yeah, without going over the edge. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Now, I got to ask you too, and I just want to kind of paraphrase or sum up some of what you said. It really is about nothing but me. This is kind of what I'm getting from you.
Yeah.
It's really just me. Like the more I distract myself out here, the less focus I have on me. I understand that. But
Mm-hmm,
really, everything I create, my world is created for me.
mm-hmm,
And like you said earlier, if you maintain that neutrality, you observe all these things happening, you serve humanity, you're going to find the loopholes and move into the timelines that are more elevated,
mm-hmm,
more equal, judicious. I mean, everything is going to be what everybody wants, basically.
mm-hmm,
But
mm-hmm,
it's not really, and everybody's going to be in a different place, or a place they choose, basically
mm-hmm.
based on the
That's
level
right.
of honesty they have with themselves. I have to ask you, uh, do you ever get triggered? Do you ever get off balance?
Yes.
And what do you do when you do that? How do you bring yourself in?
I use the structure because they told me that in order for me to switch the hologram, to shut the hologram with a frequency of negativity, I had to pull away from the illusion and to think that it's a hologram, because then of disengaging with the illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to completely calm yourself down, so the emotion that is a frequency resonance, you're not giving into the field around you, because the field is going to mimic it exactly of the same. So you have to subside down by totally understanding. And when you get to zero, you can watch a movie, you can listen to a music over and over and over again until you completely calm down. So you got to do something in a physical, because it's helping you to crystallize and subside the emotion of anger to zero. After you have that, give a gratitude to the hologram and whatever happened to neutralize it.
Yeah.
Because you cannot reject even the negative structure, because it's part of your hologram.
And I
But
guess
after this is happening, then you're gonna shift your emotion from negative to positive by really feeling, because the quantum field is gonna mimic the resonance in the now to shift and build another frequency with you that you're gonna shift, which is a brand new earth and another version of you based on a resonance that you end up shifting.
Yeah.
And that's the tough part.
See, and that's what I was referring to earlier, was regardless of what the subject is. But if we make our choice and we discern and say, I'm going to stand over here, but because we just saw something that was bad, or we experienced something bad, or whatever the case was, but if we damn the part that was negative, then we're in that space, aren't we? We're not going to elevate. We're not going to push through if we damn that opposite side of the spectrum. We've got to accept everything. Is that correct?
Yes, because that opposite side of the spectrum is projection in your hologram as another version of you. You cannot reject your hologram, but you can transform it by switching the resonance.
Last thing, you have two other books, and one of them is called The Predictions. Is that right?
The predictions and the download predictions and download technology, which is I have it in my website, and I have it in my YouTube channel. The first video you see there.
Now, the predictions, is that something based on? I mean, that just sounds kind of interesting. Obviously, there's not really a set of predictions. I guess the way this thing's set up, there's multiple timelines.
Yeah, the prediction is the 5D timeline protocol outcome.
Oh, it's a protocol.
Protocol outcome for anybody that is in ascension, and that is by bylaws. Consciousness decided we're moving, we're winning, this person and that person. Between all that, whatever is 100% locked in, it's a multiple layers of probabilities. Who is going to do what, how is going to happen, is always going to be replaced, but the end result is always going to be in the name of humanity, in the name of consciousness, because consciousness cannot self-sabotage. It has to survive.
Right on. Wow. It's been a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for coming in and honoring us with your presence. I would love to collaborate with you again. I'm gonna, if you're open to it, I'm gonna.
Yes, I'm open. Anything from the heart, I'm open.
Yeah, that's all we have over here. We don't have anything else. we don't have any money, so we have the heart.
Yeah.
But
it's always something.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't really read too much stuff. I'm gonna go dig into your stuff, and if you don't mind, we'll hit you up and see if we can get together again in 2-3 weeks or something.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, and all blessings to you and yours, your family, and all your friends, and your whole world over there.
You too. Love to everybody. Bye.
Peace out. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.